Learning Japanese is awesome. Once you reach a somewhat decent level, you can mingle with the locals, maybe you can make even some friends, or you can just finally watch your favorite anime without having to rely on the subtitles. But there's just one problem. The general assumption is that only 2 in 100 Japanese language learners will ever reach a level that can be considered somewhat fluent or decent, while 98 of them will have quit before. And having learned Japanese for almost 9 years now myself, I think I know the reason for that. Making this the single biggest mistake that you can make when studying Japanese. So in this video, we're going to talk about this topic in 3 parts. In part number 1, I will tell you right away what I think is that biggest mistake to not waste your time. And part number 2 will be about why I think it's the biggest mistake and not just any mistake. And part number 3 will be about how to avoid that mistake. And I will share some of my own learnings here from my own 9-year journey so far. And if you watch this until the end and actually understand the concept that I'll be talking about, there's no way around the fact that you will learn Japanese. And yes, I can say that and still sleep at night. Hey, this is future editor Matt. Turns out I could not sleep well at night. So let me add something here. Of course, watching until the end and understanding is the first step, it's important. But the most important thing is that you put things into practice for your own Japanese learning approach. In the end, you need to put in the work, and maybe this video helps you with making your work a bit more easier, but in the end, you need to do the work yourself. This feels a bit better. Back to past Matt. So if you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Matt. I have self-studied Japanese consistently for almost 9 years now, while having a somewhat busy life, I would say. Let's put it like that. It's busy. Okay, let's jump right into it. What is the number 1 mistake that Japanese language learners make? People focus on speed and efficiency, and they're only worried about the outcome of learning Japanese, which means reaching a certain proficiency level, ideally being fluent right away, right now. Now. So you may wonder, why is that a problem? Well, let me give you the answer, but I'm not sure if you're gonna like the answer. Learning Japanese takes time. There's no way around it. Learning Japanese takes time, and quite some time. Let's try to make it a bit more objective, even though, to be honest, I think this is still only indicative. So the FSI, which is the Foreign Service Institute, which apparently have some knowledge in foreign language learning, I guess. Hope. Anyway, the FSI is clustering foreign languages in 5 different categories based on the difficulty level for native speakers of English to learn that language. And category 1, you got your French, Spanish, Romanian, Dutch, Italian kind of languages in there. So they're quite similar to English. This is why it takes a foreign language learner around 24 to 30 weeks to learn these languages. Oh, and maybe what do I mean by learning? Learning the language here is not defined as you're fully fluent and you're native-like, by far not. It's just defined as being proficient on working level. So this is similar to a B2 or C1 level in the European system, I guess. Category number 2, German. And that's only German. I'm sorry, from the bottom of my heart. In category number 3, there are languages that require about 36 weeks or 900 hours of instruction or classroom learning in order to learn the language. And in here you have Swahili, Indonesian, and Malaysian. And then there's category number 4, where you have Russian, Hindi, Tamil, Thai, Vietnamese, and many more. Learning those languages takes around 44 weeks or 1,100 class hours. And then there's category number 5. And in there, you may have guessed it, we got Mandarin, Cantonese, Korean, Arabic, and Japanese. And there's quite a gap between this category number 5 and category number 4 in terms of time required in order to learn the language. So if you remember, category 4 was around 44 weeks or 1,100 class hours. Category 5 is around 88 weeks or 2,200 class hours in order to reach a somewhat decent level. So that means if you can somehow manage to squeeze out at least 1 hour every day for your Japanese language learning, it will take you around 6 years in order to reach that kind of proficiency level. So why is focusing on speed and efficiency a bad thing then? Wouldn't it make sense to actually try to be as fast as possible if it takes so long to learn? Well, yes and no, but mostly no. If you just focus on efficiency and speed and trying to just find the best, most efficient methods out there, For sure, it will lead you to a state where you have a mindset of being focused on only the outcome. You will always look into how fast am I able to read? How many kanji can I understand? How much do I actually understand when I'm listening to a podcast? So if you're in that mindset of just focusing on the outcome, and there's not much outcome to be had in the beginning of learning Japanese, you will for sure start to get frustrated, which in turn will lead you to again go back to your approach, go back to your method, and try to find even better or faster ways to learn Japanese, which again will lead you to have some more expectations on what the outcome should be. It's not going to be there in the beginning. You will get frustrated, and so on and so on. If you're stuck in that negative spiral for too long, there's a very high chance you will just not feel any motivation at all to keep studying because you hate it. And if you think about it, there's only one reason for you to never learn Japanese, and that is you burning out and quitting the learning. It's as simple as that. So how can we actually avoid this mistake, right? So we know already focusing on speed and efficiency is not good. What should we do instead in order to have a better learning experience? I would suggest instead of focusing on efficiency and speed, focus on fun. I know it sounds so basic, but after 9 years, I can tell you it's so true. Since learning Japanese is going to be a very, very long journey, potentially a lifelong journey, you better learn enjoying the process of learning. You should focus on making your learning journey as fun as you can. And why do I think that's so important? If you find ways to make your language learning more fun, you're more likely to do it again. And if you do things again, you are very likely to establish routines. And routines are your biggest shield. They are the biggest protector of your learning journey. Just think about any daily routine that you may have. Putting on clothes, brushing your teeth. These are things that you just do on a daily basis without questioning them. And you want Japanese to be just like that in order to keep you going for the many years that are needed to learn the language. And if you have established those routines, this means that you have consistency in your language learning schedule. And consistency in language learning will always lead to results. And once you see those results, or you start seeing them, even small ones, you will really enjoy the process, which again will fortify your routines, which again will lead to more consistency and thus progress, and so on and so on. So in this sense, it's like a positive flywheel if you want. I mean, let's just take a very simple example. Think about going to the gym, right? If you go to the gym, usually you have a certain goal. Maybe you want to get in shape, maybe you want to lose weight, build muscle, whatever. In the beginning, going to the gym is hard. It's a very painful process and there's not much gain to be had in the beginning. But it is those people that actually start to learn to enjoy the process of going to the gym and the process of working out that will get the most benefit. Because for them, going to the gym will just become a certain routine that they don't question. And again, routine means consistency. Consistency will mean progress if you just stick to working out consistently and having a good diet consistently. And then at some point, of course, I think it's fair to start thinking about maybe I can even, optimize a bit more by tweaking a bit my diet plan or by switching out that one exercise for another one. But overall, the thing that will keep you going and that will get you the result will be the question of whether you enjoy the process or not. And exactly the same holds true for Japanese. Only if you manage to make that journey for a very long time enjoyable, then you will be able to actually see progress. And you will be able to at some point speak the language. And of course, what is enjoyable to whom is very individual, right? But I would say that there are 3 questions you can ask yourself to get started and maybe find out what to look out for in your studying approach. And number 1 is, what kind of learner are you actually? Are you someone who's preferring to learn visually? Are you someone who likes to learn more from audio? Maybe you're someone who likes going to classes so that you can interact and have people around you to have conversations. Maybe you're the complete opposite and would rather like to study from home using your textbook, an app, or whatever. And the point is, all of them are fine. There is none better or worse. It's just a question of personal preference in terms of studying and learner preferences. And the second question you should ask yourself in order to find your approach is, what kind of content around Japan and Japanese do I actually enjoy? Am I interested more in society, in maybe history and culture? For a lot of people, the answer will be anime or manga. And yes, you can learn Japanese by watching anime. If you want to know how, just maybe leave a comment. I will try to pick it up in a future video if you like. And the last question you can ask yourself to have a starting point is, what kind of things or methods did I enjoy or specifically not enjoy during my school time or time in university? So for the time being, I will just leave it at those 3 questions, but for sure in the future, I will share more of my learning experience, of my methods of learning Japanese for the past 9 years on this channel in the hope that this is somehow useful and helpful to you. Alright, so to wrap it up, if there's just one key takeaway that I want you to take away from today's video is learning Japanese is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So you better look for a way to enjoy the running rather than keep worrying about the actual finish line. So when I think of my own Japanese learning approach for the past 9 years, was it the fastest, the most efficient approach? Probably not. But it was an approach that kept me going consistently for 9 years, and it led me to a situation where actually I'm looking forward every single day to studying Japanese. It doesn't feel like work, or it doesn't feel like I'm using energy for that. It's more like, thank God, now I can have my online conversation, or I can watch a movie, or I can read a book. It doesn't feel like studying, it's just fun. And this is why maybe it has not been the fastest, but for me, the best approach, because it's the one that kept me going and it's the one that made me learn Japanese after all. I really hope you found today's video helpful. If you did, leave a like or comment below. So today we talked about the biggest mistake that people make when learning Japanese, but it's by far not the only mistake. So if you like, there should be a video either up here or there where I talk about other common mistakes that people make when learning Japanese. See you soon. Bye.